Hi everyone, I'm in my kitchen and I've got a range of vegetables and fruit to talk about. So you'll see my hands, but you'll hear my voice, but you won't be able to see me because I'm going to stand at this chopping board. Okay, so if we were in class looking at vegetables and fruit, we'd be asking the children to look at the variety of vegetables and fruit on their tables and describe them. We'd be asking, are there any that they recognise? Do they know the names of them? And we'd be talking about how to describe the outside of the vegetable or the fruit, having a feel of it. Is it rough? Is it smooth? Has it got any bumps? You can see this has got plenty of bumps on it and marks. And if it wasn't a vegetable or a fruit the children know, we'd be asking them to predict what it's like inside as well. This is an aubergine, they might not know that. Is it the same on the inside as the outside? So lots and lots of talking for this activity, with whatever you've got at home, describing the vegetable and what it looks like. And of course, depending on how you slice it open will dictate what it looks like inside. Okay, so here's my aubergine. It's smooth, it's shiny, it's quite big. I've got quite a big hand, but it's bigger than my hand. It's not very heavy. There's a stalk up here, that's where it was cut from the plant. And it's purple, very dark purple. So if we cut it open, it's quite easy to cut, and the children might be surprised that it's green inside. And then if I cut it along this way, you can see this one has some seeds as well. You see that? So we'd be talking about that, and if I was drawing my aubergine later on, I'd make sure that I got a really nice purple outline, and then I had really pale green and some brown to show the seeds. Okay, so that's aubergine. Here's my pepper, and of course it depends how I cut my pepper as to what we see. Now for this, I'm going to cut it this way. I'm going to try and do it so you can watch as I cut, because it gives you a really good look at the inside. So it is red inside, but you've also got this white bit, and you can see all of the seeds inside. So when I cut this, I'm going to need to be careful, because when I'm cooking, I don't want the seeds in my cooking. And as we cut into it with the children, we might talk about the smell of it, and that we can cut off that little white bit. Okay? But certainly for when I'm drawing, that would be a good place to start, because you've got the red outside, and then you can show the seeds inside. Okay. Next, here I've got a red onion, and I would talk to the children about how, can you hear that? It's quite dry on the outside. And if I peel the outside layers off, then I get rid of that dry, crunchy outer layer. And I'm left with my nice purple, smooth layer. And of course you can get different coloured onions. Today I've got a red onion to use, but you could compare it to the white onions as well. Okay, and we would look at this root, and I am going to cut it with my big knife this way, so that you can enjoy that pattern inside. It reminds me a little bit of a tree trunk, these circles, and then getting smaller and smaller with the very middle of the onion right there. And we would smell it, but it's very smooth, and this is quite wet here, whereas the aubergine it's a bit wet, but it's not as wet and juicy as the onion. Look, you can see that catching the light. I've also got a yellow tomato, and if I cut into that, that reminds me a little bit of the red pepper, and you can see it's very wet inside, and you can see the seeds inside there. Can you see those? Okay. Next, I'll be asking the children if they recognise this. Some will, some won't. It's ginger, and if you look on the outside, it's very bumpy. This has been in my fridge about a week, so it's time I used it. And then if I cut into it, you can see it's a lighter yellow on the inside. It's got a lovely strong smell that I like, not everybody would do. And then if I peel this off, you can see that under the skin, I'll need to cut around a bit of this to use in my cooking tonight. And you can see it's quite tough, some parts of it, so I will grate just the outside, and you can you see those? They almost look like hairs, they're fibres, quite fibrous. So that's my ginger. Now, this is a pepper. It's not too spicy, but I'm going to be careful about cutting that. And I'm going to wash my hands after I've cut it. So I've cut the stalk off, and you can see a bit like my red pepper, there are seeds inside. And if I cut along here, you can see seeds inside. And after I've cut this, I'm going to be careful to wash my hands. So I'm going to get rid of the seeds, and I'm going to use that in my cooking. Okay, and then last, this is a big vegetable. It's quite heavy, it's easily the heaviest vegetable I've got, and you can see that's where it was cut off from the plant. And it's smooth. It's got some bumps in it, some marks, and it's got some lines, so it's almost striped. And it's a pale yellow on the outside. Is it going to be pale yellow inside, or is it going to be a different colour, I wonder? What do you think? Some of you will know. Now I'll try and do this carefully on camera. Quite hard to cut into using my big knife. There, that's the inside of the butternut squash. It's smooth, and then down here at the bottom you can see the seeds. The seeds are quite big. Can you see that? And when I cook it, I'm going to have to cut out those seeds, and I'll peel the skin off so that I just use the inside of the butternut squash, and it's quite wet. Nice juicy one.